It's not there. Sarvatra. Parashapi. Vedam pashyati nanyataha. Te sati sarvatra. Jaladavapi purusha. Atmanasya parashapi. Vedam pashyati nanyataha. Any Matajis? Word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nimitte, on account of causes. Sati, being. Sarvatra, everywhere. Jala adau api, water and other reflecting media. Purusha, the person. Atmanaha, oneself. Cha, and. Parasya api, another self. Vedam, differentiation. Pashyati, sees. Na anyada, there is no other reason. Translation: only because of different causes does a person see a difference between himself and others. Just as one sees the reflection of a body appearing differently manifested on water, on oil, or in a mirror. Purport: the spirit soul is one, the Supreme Personality Godhead. He is manifested in Swamsha and Vivinnamsha expansions. The Jivas are Vivinnamsha expansions. The different incarnations of the Supreme Personality Godhead are Swamsha expansions. Thus, there are different potencies of the Supreme Lord, and there are different expansions of the different potencies. In this way, for different reasons, there are different expansions of the same one principle, the Supreme Personality Godhead. This understanding is real knowledge, but when the living entity is covered by the Upadhi or designated body, he sees differences, exactly as one sees differences in reflections of oneself on water, on oil, or in a mirror. When something is reflected on the water, it appears to be moving. When it is reflected on ice, it appears fixed. When it is reflected on oil, it appears hazy. The subject is one, but under different conditions, it appears differently. When the qualifying factor is taken away, the whole appears to be one. In other words, when one comes to the Parahamsa or perfectional stage of life, by practicing Bhakti Yoga, he sees only Krishna everywhere. For him, there is no other objective. In conclusion, due to different causes, the living entity is visible in different forms as an animal, human being, demigod, tree, etc. Actually, every living entity is the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 5.18, therefore, it is explained that one who actually sees the spirit soul does not distinguish between a learned Brahmana and a dog, an elephant or a cow. Pandita Samadarshina. One who is actually learned sees only the living entity, not the outward covering. Differentiation is therefore the result of different karma or fruitive activities. And when we stop fruitive activities, turning them into acts of devotion, we can understand that we are not different from anyone else, regardless of the form. This is only possible in Krishna consciousness. In this movement, there are many different races of men from all parts of the world participating. But because they think of themselves as servants of the Supreme Personality Godhead, they do not differentiate between black and white, yellow and red. The Krishna conscious movement is therefore the only means to make the living entities free of all designations. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam tam sajivam sadvaitam savadutam parijana saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namaom Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Naya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurasve Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapakanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Bano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangulangayate girimet kripaha tamaham Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So before I start speaking, I seek the blessings of His Grace Anandmai Prabhu and all the small Vaishnavas so that I can speak on this verse for my purification of heart and glorification of the Lord. So in this particular verse, Sanat Kumar, one of the four Kumaras, is talking about the concept of soul and how, if we understand this, we can come out of so many problems. So here we see in this section, Prithu Maharaj very humbly surrendering and asking very important, relevant questions to the Chatus Kumaras. So you see that Sanat Kumar, this Prithu Maharaj, he is a self-realized soul. He personally pleased the Supreme Lord, and Lord Vishnu personally gave him darshan. So, in spite, and he's a Shaktavesh avatar, specially empowered. So, but still, he is teaching all of us what should be our disposition while hearing. So, when the Kumaras came, he was not in the mood that that I know already everything, or I'm not in the need of hearing. Means he was very desperate to hear, and he is asking very relevant questions, feeling that he is very fallen. So those who are really elevated, they feel very fallen, and they are very eager to hear. And those who are actually fallen, they feel they are elevated and they don't like to hear. Sometimes as we grow in the number of years in Krishna consciousness, sometimes we feel that, oh, this is all similar knowledge. Here Sanat Kumar is talking about knowledge of soul. No, this knowledge I have heard in my childhood days in Krishna consciousness. Discover yourself, basic course of Krishna consciousness. So we may feel that this is not relevant for me, or one may not be so eager to hear this knowledge which is being given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So because we may start feeling that I know everything, or I already heard this. But here we see in the Srimad Bhagavatam or even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the devotees of the Lord, they never feel that they know everything. They always feel that they are very fallen and they feel a great need to hear. So that's why we are getting this knowledge uh, because of their eagerness to hear. And the speakers also, they very much appreciate their eagerness uh, to hear. So when we don't have that eagerness, sometimes as we feel that this is repeated knowledge, like Prabhupada books also, we see that many purports Prabhupada may be speaking similar things about knowledge of soul may come in so many purports. So one may feel that, oh, it is quite repeated. I already read it so many times. How many times he will say? So we should all realize that first of all, uh, actually, anything which is important can be repeated again and again because it is so very vital and important. And another thing is, uh, generally, those who fail, they have to again study and write. Right? Although we have knowledge, but we don't have realization of the subject matter. Like we may have knowledge that okay, I am soul, but actually, how much we have realized that we are soul, and how much we are actually applying at every moment in our life. In fact, even after knowing this knowledge, many times we forget this most basic concept, and we are more worried about the bodily needs and more thinking about our own body. So we should understand that unless I am fully realized, I should keep on hearing. And those who are fully realized, they actually feel that no, I have not realized. So they will keep on hearing. Atma Ramasya Munyo Nirganta Api Urkrame Kurvante Ahaitum Bhaktim Itam Bhuta Gunohari. The qualities and the pastimes of the Lord are so wonderful that even those who are self-realized souls, they feel that I should keep on hearing. They never feel that, oh, sufficient, I have heard sufficiently. Right? So that's how we can come out of this problem which we face generally when we read Srila Prabhupada books or when we hear the same thing. That actually I have not realized this, I have not applied this in my life. Still I am struggling with my mind and senses in the bodily conception of life. So let me keep on hearing again and again so that no, I can be reminded of this most fundamental knowledge. So here, yeah, and also we fail. As I said, if a student fails in exam, he has to again appear, he has to again read. But how many times we have failed in applying this knowledge? How many times we have uh, not remembered this concept that I am soul, and right, every time we keep forgetting it. Right? So that's why we should keep on hearing. So here in the purport, Prabhupada is talking initially about the expansions of the Supreme Lord, how there are two types of expansions, Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. Swamshas are the expansions of the Lord, different incarnations of the Lord. They have the same potencies as the Lord. And the Vibhinnamshas are the living entities. So Lord expands unlimitedly in various ways, ultimately for His pleasure. So and Lord wants to have loving reciprocation. So that's why He expands. So here Prabhupada is telling that when a living entity is covered by the Upadhi, so then he sees differences. As the nice analogy is given by Sanat Kumar here, then he starts seeing differences in the reflections of oneself in water, on oil, or in a mirror. So the living entity is covered by the Avarnatmika Shakti. So Maya covers him with Avarnatmika Shakti. So it's like a person is covered by one chadar. So he is not able to see, right? Covered over, right? And when he's covered, who is there, what is happening, he is not aware. He is in ignorance, right? And Maya covers him, and then Prakshepatmika Shakti. No, Maya gives him kicks. So Maya covers the living entity and then keeps him in this material world, receiving so many sufferings in this material existence. So, because of his false ego, because of his strong identification with this body, uh, that's why means he is attached to the sense gratification which he is getting in this body. So that's why he identifies with that body, uh, which he is not. He is not this body, but so. Uh, but when we actually hear the transcendental knowledge from Krishna and Parampara, then we realize that how we are not this body, but part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So, in Bhagavad Gita also we see that Krishna very elaborately explains this knowledge from 2.13 to almost 23 or so. Why Krishna explains the same thing in so many verses? Because any concept, if you want to understand very deeply, if you study it from various angles of vision, then you will understand more perfectly. But if you just read one sloka and go, you may not so much contemplate. But Krishna is trying to explain through various analogies, and also what are the characteristics of soul, how it is Nainam Chindanti Shastrani and all. So many ways he is trying to explain us the same concept so that we are very grounded in this concept, right? Because this is the most foundational knowledge. The first thing Krishna starts speaking in Bhagavad Gita is this knowledge only, right? First he chastises Arjuna for not fighting and not acting like a civilized man. And then after that, when Arjuna surrenders, then he actually starts speaking this. So in a building, the most important thing is the foundation. Because if there is no foundation, the whole building will, proper foundation, then the whole building will fall, right? So same way, this knowledge that we are not this body, we are soul, is the most foundational thing, right? Because we act as per our identification, right? How we identify ourselves, accordingly we start acting, right? If you start thinking I am a teacher, you will start teaching. If you start thinking I am a engineer, you will start working in that particular way, right? So how you identify yourself with, that's how you start acting. Your activities are based on that. So, but problem is, everybody in this world identifies with the body and the various designations related to the body. So they are only involved in activities related to the body, which are actually temporary and illusory, and they are not doing activities which are meant for the soul, which they really are. They are investing whole life in only in the body and the mind, activities related to the body and mind. They are not investing time, energy in activities of the soul, which they are really, which they are actually, right? So it's like the example is given. A person whole life is investing in a bank. So he keeps on every month adding money, and at the end of life he comes to know that all this account is fake. It is a fake account, right? Means it doesn't come with him. So the whole thing is gone waste, right? So same way we are investing so much time, energy only in the body, the needs of the body and needs of the mind. We are not fulfilling the needs of the soul, right? So that's why means ultimately, although how much ever you invest in that, at the end of life, nothing is going to come with us, right? That's why that story of Mahamurk, I'll not tell that whole story, but where the king appoints one person who is the most foolish, and he tells him to go around, and finally at his old age he tells him that you replace with another Mahamurk. The king was old and meeting everyone at his point of death. Then that Mahamurk tells that he has a stick. He tells you are you are only Mahamurk. Because he says that whole life you worked hard and you are saying that you have worked hard for money and getting kingdoms, and now you are saying that at the end of life nothing is going to come with you. So what is the use? Whole life you are invested in it, right? So that's why you are the greatest fool. so so people means Prabhupada says we have to invest in body also, just to keep the body and soul together. It's not that okay we have to completely fast or not fulfill any needs. We have to do the basic minimum to keep the body and soul together. We have to eat and drink and take rest. Those things are their basic needs. But the problem is we are only taking care of body, not the soul. The example is given of the cage and the bird, right? Somebody is only polishing the cage, not taking care of the bird. The bird will suffer. Same way, the soul is suffering. Means we are actually facing so many problems because we are not feeding the soul. So somebody may say that, okay, I know that if I am not feeding my body, I feel hunger. Then if I am not feeding the soul, how will I understand that I am not feeding the soul? I don't feel that hunger. But actually the soul is also hungry, and that hunger can be experienced when we actually in this when the individuals face all the anarthas, dissatisfaction, lust, greed, anger. Actually these are all the needs of the, means when the soul's needs are not fulfilled, it manifests externally, in this way. Because the soul has need to love and to be loved, to love Krishna and to receive that love of Krishna and reciprocate. But when it is not receiving and reciprocating with Krishna, then it transforms as the same love for Krishna transforms as lust, greed, envy, all these things, right? So because we are not loving and serving Krishna, right, it manifests in those ugly ways, anarthas. But when you fulfill the needs of the soul, that hunger of the soul, then you will not feel all these problems, right? So individually, collectively, what we are facing problems or the society is because of this, because they are not fulfilling the needs of the soul. That's why Prabhupada, when he went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, he said that, okay, there are so many departments for science and physics and this and that, but where is the department to study this knowledge of soul? This is the most fundamental and basic thing. This they are not teaching. Then what is the use of all other? There is no foundation and you are building on top. Or if there is no proper foundation, everything will fall. So that's why the whole society or the civilization is failure, because they are not teaching even this most basic things, which are most vital for all of us. So that's why people are also identifying so much with the body and the designations of the body. That I am I'm a male, I am female, I am Indian, I am Telangana, I am of this caste, I am Hindu, I am Muslim. These are all designations related to the body. And because of identifying with these designations, we see that individually and collectively there are so many problems, right? But this is all illusion, because we are soul. So as here powerful analogy is given, when the soul is reflected on water, it is moving. When a person is reflected on water, the image is keep moving. And when it is reflected on, it's mentioned here, oil, it appears hazy. And when it is reflected on ice, it appears to be fixed, Prabhupada is mentioning. So, but the person is the same, right? But the reflection is appearing different. So actually we are the same spirit soul, but our reflection, means this body, which is compared here with the reflection, appears to be different. According to his karma, in different lives he keeps taking different body. Sometimes he is a human being, demigod, animal, cat, dog, tree. But he is the same spirit soul, right? So one who understands this will overcome so many problems in their life. So that's why Krishna says, Vidya Vinay Sampanne, Brahmane Gavihastine, Suni Chaiva Sapakecha, Pandita Samadarshina. So a Pandita, he sees everyone Samadarshi in the sense that he understands that everyone is a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. This external body is just a superficial covering. According to his karma, he gets different bodies. So just like the example is given, if somebody goes to a shop, what kind of dress he can purchase depends on how much money he has, right? So according to the type of how much money he has, he can purchase different types of dresses, right? If somebody is rich, he may purchase a suit, right? Like that. So same way, according to our karma, right, the living entities take different types of bodies. If he has good karma, he may be born as a demigod. If he has bad karma, he may take the form of animal or something else like that, right? So that's how this law of karma acts. uh, but those who are self-realized, those who have this knowledge, they should understand that how we are not this body and the spirit soul. So uh, then one will not be distracted, or one will not differentiate in terms of the bodies. Uh, so understanding that everyone is same. So in this world we see there are so many fights happening based on this bodily conception of life, like Pakistan and India, or Hindu Muslim. These are all based on these fights. But the most fundamental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita can solve this problem. Understanding that we are soul, right? So when we are soul, part and parcel of Krishna, we are all children of God, right? Whether Hindus or Muslims, there is no Hindu soul, there is no Muslim soul or Pakistan soul. No, it's something different. It's not like that. The soul is the same, right? There's no different souls, right? So only according to their karma they have taken birth like that. So if somebody is too much envious, uh, like Krishna says, Yamam vapi smaran bhavam tajantyanta kalaivaram. So somebody is envious, suppose of Pakistan, and is attached to it, too much antagonistic. If he thinks of Pakistan, next time he may be born in Pakistan. Then so easy Pakistani or Indian, right? So like that, actually in the bodily conception of life, one will keep on going in this cycle of birth and death, right? In the bodily designation. Same way countries are fighting, or the various Hindu, Muslims, all this, so many unnecessary fights. All these are based on the bodily conception of life. Extension of one's selfishness, Prabhupada says. First one is attached to body, and then the attachments related to the body. My family, then my society, my state. How we are attached to our town, our then state, our to country, no, right? So much various levels of attachments, but these are all bodily designations, right? So one should not be attached to all these upadhis. Sarva upadi vinamuktam tat paratvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchate. We have to give up all these designations and with a pure heart serve the Supreme Lord. Engage our senses in Lord Hrishikesha's service. So that is very important. So, but unfortunately, people think that how this Bhagavad Gita is relevant, or how it is it really going to help us? But we see that even the most fundamental knowledge in Bhagavad Gita can help us to solve out so many problems, right? So even individual problems also. Like once there were two fat ladies, and they were very much being criticized, by people. People were telling, you're fat, and like this comments were made. So they were always in lamenting and in depression, thinking, oh, we are fat or we are ugly, like that. So people generally who are like that, they keep lamenting and feeling depressed. So once they went to a ISKCON temple, and there they were hearing Bhagavad Gita class. So in that they heard, you are not this body, your spirit soul. You're not this body, which we are so much identifying with. Oh, I am soul, completely different from this body. And spirit soul is Satchidananda, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. Right? So immediately they became very happy, because they felt, oh, so many years we are thinking that I am this body, and so much we are in depression. Right? So people actually can come out of so much depression just based on this simple concept of Bhagavad Gita. right? In this world, we see that so many people are in depression because of small, small things related to the body, right? I'm black, I'm ugly, I'm not intelligent, this, that. These are all just because of one's karma when we get all this. But ultimately, we are soul, and if we serve Krishna, we'll all be happy forever, right? Even though if we have all this, whatever good things, they are also temporary and illusory, because ultimately they will all be gone at the time of death, right? So that's why we should teach people this most important knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because people are lacking this knowledge. That's why they are in so much illusion, and they are suffering themselves, so much, and also they are making others suffer also. Like Hitler, he's so much no, envious of the Jews, so he want to eliminate that race only. So again, that is bodily conception, right? Because of bodily conception, he want to kill them. But actually, everyone is child of Krishna. They are our brothers and sisters. Why to unnecessarily trouble? The Supreme Lord is not happy. Father, the Supreme Father will not be happy when you trouble your brothers and sisters, right? Right. So with that knowledge, one can actually overcome so many problems. So here, Prabhupada is saying, on the other hand, in our movement, there are many different races of men from all parts of the world participating. But because they think themselves of servants of Supreme Lord, they do not differentiate between black and white, yellow and red. So the Krishna conscious movement is therefore the only means to make the living entities free of all designations. So this is the only way, Prabhupada is saying. So we see in our ISKCON that how we have devotees from so many countries. So once in Calcutta, when they were celebrating the 50th anniversary of ISKCON, the Golden Jubilee celebrations. So that time there was a Harinam Sankirtan organized, wherein 125 devotees, 125 countries devotees participated. Devotees from 125 countries participated. So it was a record, Guinness Book of World Record, wherein different people from so many countries participated. And they are participating not for money or no, they are happily participating in Sankirtan. So in ISKCON we see that although we have devotees from so many different castes or races, countries, but still we see that they are all unitedly serving. Nobody is worried who you are from Pakistan or you are from which country. No, we are not so much worried about who is from which country or which caste or what. Right? We are simply concerned about serving the Supreme Lord, and we take inspiration from each other, how they serve Krishna. Right? So we find in ISKCON Chinese and Australians and Africans and Americans and Indians and all. When you go to Mayapur, we see devotees from all parts of the world coming and singing the glories of the Lord. So Prabhupada has really created United Nations. Actually, although we see in this world that there is United Nations, Prabhupada said that actually how they are not united actually, because the number of flags are increasing. So if they are increasing, how they are united? It should reduce. If they say United Nations, it should reduce the flags and whole world should become one. But actually the flags are increasing, means they are fighting and they want to divide and rule, right? Because everybody wants to be controller, enjoyer, right? They want to further divide the states and countries and rule and enjoy, right? So actually they are not becoming united, they are actually becoming disunited. But Prabhupada has shown to the world that how to be united. That's why we say that he has built a house in which the whole world come and stay. Prabhupada actually created this wonderful house of ISKCON, where we can take shelter of the Supreme Lord, no matter who you are, whether you are black, white, man, woman, child, whoever you may be, you can come and take shelter of the Supreme Lord. There is no restriction, right? So the only qualification is you have to come and serve the Lord. That's all, right? So, so this knowledge, although it appears to be very, very simple, very, very basic, We should all develop faith in this knowledge, and we should also apply in our own lives this knowledge, and we should keep hearing this knowledge again, uh, and then we should also teach others. Okay, so but how do we get the realization of this knowledge is also very important. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnanena tattvadarshina. So when you serve the spiritual master who is tattvadarshi, he has seen the truth. Tattvadarshi, he has seen this absolute truth, he understands, he has realized. So when the guru is pleased by the disciple who is serving submissively, asking relevant questions, then he bestows that knowledge, the transcendental knowledge, in the heart of that disciple, right? So then you get realization of this knowledge. Otherwise, without submissively serving the spiritual master, although we have this knowledge, but we don't get realization. So in one of the purports, Prabhupada mentions the knowledge is given by Krishna, which is like a sword. But the strength to hold the sword is given by Balram. And the sword may become blunt. So serving the spiritual master is like making the sword sharp. And by that sword of knowledge, you can cut through all the network of illusions, the network of fruitive activities in the heart, all the knots, hard knots of the heart. So we have to not only hear this knowledge, but we should sincerely serve the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and the spiritual masters coming down in the parampara, so that we actually get the strength and determination to follow those instructions and apply in our own life. So thank you very much. Any one question anybody has? Sorry, today is also the appearance of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. I'll just tell few things about him. So even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, Narottam Das Thakur appeared in this world, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, once when he was with the devotees, he was calling out loudly, Narottam, Narottam, like that, very loudly. And so all the devotees were thinking that, okay, maybe Narottam is one of the names of the Supreme Lord, the best of all the living entities. So they asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, who is this Narottam? Then he said that actually very soon a great devotee of the Lord is going to appear in this world, who is Narottam. And he said, I am going to invest my love for him in the river Padma. So Lord personally goes and bathes in that and invests his love for him. So this Narottam Das Thakur appeared in Keturi Gram, and from his childhood, he was very eager to hear about the Lord and his associate, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. So from Krishnanand, he heard about the various devotees of Lord Chaitanya and his associates. So every time he used to hear about them, he used to feel that I am so sinful, because they all left Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and many of the associates of Lord, they left this world by that time. So he used to feel that I am so sinful that I appeared at the time when all this, when the Lord and his devotees left this world. Because I am sinful, that's why I appeared later. If I was pious, I would have appeared that time and taken their association. He is so humble. But he used to feel so much separation from them when he would hear about their wonderful qualities and pastimes. So many times, because he was feeling so much separation, either they would appear or physical, means before him, or later in his dream they would appear and bless him. Don't worry, we are there with you. So later on, eventually Nityananda Prabhu reveals to him that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has invested love of Godhead for you in the river Padma. So when he goes and takes bath in river Padma, actually he becomes golden in color, golden hue, and he becomes very, very effulgent, Narottam Das Thakur. And he becomes very, very ecstatic in Krishna Prem. So eventually, this Narottam Das Thakur goes to Vrindavan to study under Jiva Goswami. He and Srinivas Acharya and Shamanand Pandit, they are the three best friends, and although they are from three different gurus, they cooperate with each other and they study under Jiva Goswami. And then eventually they were instructed by the Goswamis to distribute the books. So they are the first Sankirtan devotees. The first book distribution party is Srinivasa Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shamanand Pandit. And they took the books from Vrindavan, and they got it distributed in Bengal and Orissa. So eventually he comes back to Keturi, Narottam Das Thakur, and starts preaching against all impersonalism and all kinds of wrong philosophies. And in short, actually, once he gets the deities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a godown which was fully infested with snakes, but he fearlessly enters and gets those deities, which was actually told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in a dream to him. And eventually he calls Jana Mata and all the associates of Lord who were present to Keturi Gram for installing deities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna, all the various deities. So that time, that's the first time they celebrate Gaur Purnima festival in the history. And that time, during that festival, when this Narottam Das Thakur, with great feelings of separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sings with so much love and devotion. So because he sang with so much love and devotion, Lord Chaitanya and all the associates appear in the Keturi Gram in front of, physically, where all the villagers in Keturi, they were able to see Lord Chaitanya and all the associates, Nityanand Prabhu, Advaita Acharya. After their disappearance from this world, they again, all of them appear and they start dancing with all the devotees who were present there for some time, and eventually they again leave this world, disappear. So we can see that how Narottam Das Thakur, he had so much love and devotion that because of his sincere calling, the Supreme Lord actually appeared right there in Keturi Gram. And also we know that Narottam Das Thakur was blessed and empowered by Lord Chaitanya to write songs. He has written so many wonderful songs which we sing, no? Sri Guru Charana Padma, and so many wonderful songs which we sing. These are all written by Narottam Das Thakur. He is empowered actually to write these songs. So we sincerely seek his blessings and prayers so that we can also develop that love for the Supreme Lord and his associates. And he has also sang this Jai Anilo Premadana. He has written this song when Ramchandra Kaviraj and this Srinivasa Acharya, they leave this world. In separation of them, he writes this song, Jai Anilo Premadana, which we generally sing whenever the disappearance day of Acharyas are there. So he has so much love for Lord and his associates. So we pray that we may also get a drop of that love for the Supreme Lord and his devotees. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai.